What's cracking, everybody? We welcome you into Best Ball Live. James Koh here with you. We appreciate you guys watching. We're about to kick off here, man. What are we? We're the sixth pick. I'm James Koh. As you guys have known, if you guys have watched this show, we get a new guest in every single week. And this week, it is the great Chris Raybon from the Action Network. You've seen his work on ESPN Plus. You've seen it on Action Network. You've seen it in a lot of different places, man. I'm a big fan of Chris Raybon's work. Glad he can join the show. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm excited to draft, man. It's like my fourth or fifth one today, so thanks for having me. I'm ready to go
today. I love it.
I wake up and draft, man. No other way.
Atta baby, just full on degenerate mode. I love it. Let's go. By the way, man, so it is it's a giant tournament, right? So, winner gets 200 grand or whatever it is. So the strategy here is going to be a little bit different, you want to go off script sometimes. And again, safety is not ever an issue in best ball, but especially in these big tournaments, I would imagine, you really want to kind of sort of get after it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people don't realize that even a normal fantasy league is like that a little bit. I mean, you start with, let's say, like a 1 in 12 chance to win. So now you're just kind of exponentializing that by, it's like 1 in 12 times 1 in 12. So it's a tiny chance you really take home that top prize. So yeah, I go risky a little earlier in the draft than I would. I still think like the first couple picks, you're just like, everyone has upside. So you do want to kind of avoid a landmine, like in the first round, like. I think Saquon Barkley qualifies as that. That's the main guy.
So here's the thing that I've been struggling with. Like a lot of these guys, by the way,
we're up, right? Clock. All right, who we got? Yeah. Who's up?
Well, listen, there's Travis Kelce, the any wide receiver you want in terms of running backs. Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler.
Give me Devontae Adams.
I like it, man.
We're going to go wide receiver early.
We're going to go wide receiver early. And by the way, I'm stretching out these picks just a little bit so we can talk a little bit more, yada, yada. Everyone else in this draft is going to hate me because, again, we're going to stretch out all these picks. But, hey, man, it's all good. By the way, I love drafting in this particular spot, middle of the draft. This is where I really feel like, the draft is able to kind of sort of come to you. You know what I'm saying? Whether you use, tiers or whatever, positional strategies, whatever it is, like this is where in that range where you kind of feel like, okay, I kind of sort of let the draft come to me. I'm going to take the players I like, and we kind of get off and running from there.
Yeah. You mentioned something, positional strategies, and I think they're good to be aware of, but I think people really do get into problems following those positional strategies, whether it be zero RB, hero RB, surplus RB, whatever it is, just because it's a positional strategy, you're not allowing or you're not necessarily giving the full credence to the draft unfolding a different way than you may predict. And even in the early rounds, things can happen. Like one pick that's like not expected can kind of set off a whole chain of events to where the guys might not be up there. So yeah. Are we up again?
Which I love, by the way. I love when an unexpected pick happens and then there's just a mad scramble for like the next 7 picks. You know what I'm saying? I love that.
Yeah. So I think the key is really knowing how to use all the strategies. Like I'll use zero RB, but it's not because I set out like intending to not draft running backs. It's just because like a lot of wide receivers were values when it was my turn to pick. And maybe there was a run or two on running backs in the first, set of couple of rounds. So I think that's kind of how you want to go about it.
All right, man. So we've got a pick coming up here in about 3 picks. I've queued up some guys, and of course, I would be remiss in saying, if you can guess my pick at any point here in the draft, and obviously Chris and I, because we're in a puppy draft, drafting here together, but if you can guess my pick at any point, okay, you'll be entered into a drawing for a free $25 entry into that $1 million Best Ball Mania 2 draft as well. All right, so we are on deck, Chris, and a lot of great players still on the board here, man. You've seen me. I've queued up a few dudes that I really, really like. Where are you kind of thinking? What's your expectations here?
Oh, give us DeAndre, without a doubt. Like this. So this is a spot where, again, like I don't go into drafts intending to go zero RB, but if you're going to give me Devontae Adams and then DeAndre Hopkins, I'm going to take it every time. I mean, those guys are perennial top 5 receivers, year in, year out. The quarterback situations are good for each one of them. And the volume is top of the league pretty much year in, year out. So this is in this kind of format, like what's going to happen is everyone's going to kind of, I think, go and take some risks. And people are going to hit on receivers later in the draft. Like there's going to be competition. And so there's really only one way to get an edge at receiver. And it's by pairing guys like that, to kind of get a sustainable edge. Beyond that, it's going to be a lot of luck, but this is a very, I think, high floor, high ceiling start to the draft. And we didn't, running backs miss more games on average. And by the time we drafted, like those top 4 guys were gone. So it's not like, if there was a Kamara or somebody there, then it would have been different, but those guys are gone. So I think now we're just going to hammer wide receiver.
The one player I did have some thoughts of right there would be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. When we're talking about the lead dog, clearly the lead back in potentially the best offense in the NFL. That's not a bad pick either. But I hear what you're saying. And I kind of sort of agree, man. Like, how do you go away from somebody that you're expecting to see 160 targets from? You know what I'm saying? Like, you talk about floor, but forget about it, man. When you talk 160 targets, bro, it's like the upside's right there too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that, the difference, because Mixon was in contention too in round 2, but I think when you think about those running backs, number one, they're gonna miss more games. But number two, a guy like Hopkins, he's the centerpiece of his offense anyway, right? Yeah, so like Edwards-Helaire is the third at best, the third guy up in that offense. Yeah. So
no doubt,
it's kind of a different situation with some of these guys at the top. So yeah, we'll hit some running backs later. Again, this is a risky kind of risk is beneficial, so we don't have to go crazy with running back early, especially after the start. I think I think I saw an article, I want to say it was Sean Siegel wrote it, that said, okay, essentially people killing themselves starting 2 wide receivers and then going away from wide receiver instead of just continuing to hammer it. So we're not even going to shy away here.
All right, brother, we got to hammer this pick right now. We got 15 seconds. What do
wide
we
receiver,
thinking?
Go to wide receiver. Who else we got?
We got Robert Woods, Mike Evans, Tyler Lockett.
Let's go Lockett.
Love it. Oops. Better hurry up and get this pick in, bro. Here we go. 1 second to go. Hit that draft button, baby. Tyler Lockett. And if I could dive into the mind of Raybon here, I'm thinking, because again, big tournament, we want big numbers. Tyler Lockett can potentially, as we saw last year, give you that 50 spot any given week. Not bad.
Yeah. And Tyler Lockett, not only does he have the upside, but I mean, the floor is there too. He's been a top 16 wide receiver each of the past 3 seasons. You look at who's throwing him the ball. Russell Wilson. That's like a lock for 35 touchdowns. And it's really, in terms of the passing game, Lockett and Metcalf. So, even some people may look at Lockett and they think of Metcalf's potential break, or like he already broke out, but a potential wide receiver 1 year for Metcalf and say, oh, well, Lockett. But remember, we've seen a bunch of teams do this, Juju and AB, Evans and Godwin, Woods and Kupp. This is, you don't need to shy away from like a top 2 guy at all.
I totally agree with that 100%, and especially with the draft capital that you're spending here. It's like he's the wide receiver 3. You know what I mean? Devontae Adams, Nuke Hopkins, Tyler Lockett. My God, sign me up for that. I love this roster build right now.
Let's keep queuing up wide receivers. Who else we got?
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so again, Cooper Kupp is in the mix. Julio Jones, if you want to go.
Let's get Mike Evans and Julio up there, definitely, and Godwin. And let's hope we get one of those.
A lot of folks feel really positive about DJ Moore this year. Again, another year with Joe Brady and Matt Rule. I think they've got a significant upgrade at the quarterback position as well. Maybe can unlock some of that downfield ceiling with DJ Moore too. So he's got some love.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want him over any of these guys just because he can't throw himself touchdowns. It's still Sam Darnold and whoever else. That's been the issue with Moore. If he ever gets touchdowns, and it's a highly volatile stat, so I'm not saying it won't, but then I think he gets into that tier for me. T. Higgins, let's get him up there. Love T. Higgins this year. I love Higgins over Chase.
Okay.
Year 2 guy, classic breakout year. I think he's going to be that lead dog, and then Chase, I think, erupts next year.
All right. So is there any thought at all at Kyle Pitts in this range?
No, I'm not going. No. I think it's too risky. And I don't mean in like I think he's already being drafted at his, the ceiling for an all-time season from a rookie receiver.
Right. Oh, rookie tight end. Right.
Yeah. I mean, rookie tight end, excuse me. Yeah. He's kind of like a receiver, but yeah. So that's just I've been trying to, if I don't get TJ Hawkinson, I usually just wait because there's a couple of guys we'll probably talk about that I love at tight end wait that are they're just kind of free. And yeah.
I like it, man. By the way, our buddy and the guy who's kind of sort of behind the glass here, Sal Pal, is in our draft too, which is very concerning for me, by the way. So yeah, he loves to just snipe these dudes that he knows that I love, man. But anyways, 20 seconds on the clock. We've got Julio Jones, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson.
Julio is our wide receiver 4? Come on, man. Y'all really gonna let us do this right now? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like people start with 2 wide receivers and then they think they got to draft like Chris Carson or something. And I love Chris Carson, but like you don't have to. You could just keep hammering it.
And again, people kind of feel like, okay, Julio Jones is going to be clearly the second option. And you know what, man? I'm not sure that's the case. Like, he got injured last year, and that's like, I get it, and AJ Brown's a beast, and I get that too. You know what I'm saying? But like, I struggle to come up with reasons why AJ Brown is going to like have like a 30% target share versus like Julio, who's going to have like a 20%. Like, I don't necessarily know if I see it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's why I say with these top 2, the math works out because usually, the top guy can get about 25, 30%. And, if the top 2 guys, they can still add up to about a little around 50%. So they could both get like 25% and be fine. And like, there's no one else catching the ball in Tennessee. So
that's exactly what I'm saying. And the point that I'm making is that you're paying, top 15 prices for AJ Brown and you're getting Julio Jones like we did in the 4th round. That's a pretty significant discount. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Let's queue up some running backs real quick. I just want to see who's there, and also some wide receivers. Jacobs. Put Jacobs on that. I'm fading Sanders. Davis we could put there. And then let's go to wide out.
Boom.
Claypool. Steven Claypool. Yeah. Beckham. Yeah. All those guys look pretty good. Yeah, you can queue up like the next 7 or 8 wide receivers. And then where are we at? Is that us? We're up? Oh no, I thought we were up.
Nah, man.
Like the screen is because I'm looking at the stream, so I can't see. It's very fuzzy, so I can barely see like our name. Like the player names are fine, but like I can't see our team name.
Yeah, I got you. We got about 3 picks to go.
I see.
Brother.
We're in the I see us.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Let's go. Who's that tight end still? Is it Andrews and
Hawk? Yeah.
Okay.
If you want one of those guys, we got to go now because they're not going to come back to us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not. Now let's go with Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, our first running back off the board. And there is, I think there's some negative sentiment with Josh Jacobs right now.
Understatement.
But it's funny, right? Because like we're talking about a guy that's had like 1,300 scrimmage yards in back-to-back seasons, averaged 10 touchdowns a season over his first 2 years, a 3rd-year running back, still a young man. Like, I guess I'm a little bit confused, especially in a system with John Gruden that they want to run the ball.
Yeah, I think people are overestimating the Kenyon Drake signing. When you look at Jacobs and then you look at the role of the backs behind him, he's never been like a 3rd down back. So Drake is and Rashard are going to continue to do that, split that work up. But I expect Jacobs to really have the same role because he's always been an early down guy. He's going to get his 16, 17 carries, and he'll still be on some pass downs and early down. Right. So he'll still get a couple catches. And I expect him to be in the high teens average in touches. Now, I think the biggest concern really is the O-line. They kind of shook it up there. So they
dismantled it.
Yeah. So that would be my biggest concern. But again, we're getting a guy that was going in the first couple of rounds. Role didn't really change. And now we're getting him in round 5 this year.
Right.
So that's how I look at things. And I mean, even Julio, it's like, this is a guy you would have to draft in the first round, maybe at the turn, in pretty much his entire career. And now he changes teams really. And he was as good as ever when he was healthy last year.
Yes, he was.
Missed games don't really correlate, especially at wide receiver. At running back, maybe a guy's injury prone, but wide receiver, it's just pure luck that he missed. Okay. He missed, 7 games last year. That doesn't mean he's missing 7 games this year. So
yeah, well, and not only that, but like you look at some of the analytics, like his success rate versus man coverage, all these metrics out there. I get to look at a lot of next gen stats. Like the dude hasn't fallen off.
Nope.
You know what I'm talking about? All right, let's queue up some dudes here because we are coming up here in about 4 picks.
Let's go.
What position group would you like to look at?
Wide receiver. Always start at wide receiver.
Always wide receiver. All right.
Yeah, Gaudet. Throw him up there. Sutton, Boyd.
Sure.
Actually, no. Take Sutton off. I'm not sure what's going on with his health. Let's see who's at tight end still. They took the two tier 2 guys, right?
Yeah. Like I said, those guys weren't.
And then let's go back to running back. Who do we got?
Kareem Hunt, Trey Sermon.
Yeah, we can put those 2 on. Not Gaskin. Michael Carter, James
Robinson. That's an interesting name.
Yeah, I don't think his role is going to change much either. I think Etienne's just going to get some pass down work, and he's going to be like a slot. Like it's going to be kind of like Tariq Cohen. I think that's what Etienne is going to be. It's not really going to remember Jordan Howard and even Montgomery. They were still getting like 16 carries a game. All
right, so we are on the clock here. We got Kenny Golladay, Antonio Brown,
and those.
Let's
go, Kenny.
Trio.
He's in my top 30. This is another top 30 wideout. These guys are hard, man.
You're absolutely jacked about Kenny Golladay here. I love it.
I mean, again, I think people overestimate the missed games, right? Like I'm not like overly excited about Kenny Golladay, but we're talking about what is this? Our 6th round picks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a 6th round pick for a top 30, a guy who should, he's a number 1 wide receiver for a team. He's a talented one. And he with a track record of production, he should be a top 30 receiver if he doesn't miss games. And again, people just, I think, look at the last season and it's like you get these discounts for guys that miss more than like 1 or 2 games.
The one thing I'll also say about Kenny Golladay too, pairing with a guy like with Danny Dimes, is that believe it or not, Danny Dimes, he actually led the league in passer rating on passes of 20 or more air yards downfield, which is a little bit surprising, honestly.
It's not if you follow his career. Remember his strong preseason, that rookie year when like Eli Manning was still there. And like he was Danny Dimes, and then I think he had a bunch of 4 touchdown games and big games his rookie year, and then in year 2, I think everything just went downhill when the O-line with the O-line. And I think that's still going to be an issue. But if the O-line is struggling, they're still going to have to throw it up to Kenny Golladay, who I think they needed that kind of receiver. So Slayton doesn't have to be like the number 1 press coverage outside beater, and Shepard doesn't have to be outside and all that. So.
Okay, so I don't know how you feel about stacking or whatever it might be, but when you take a look at our wide receiver core, Rodgers, if you wanted to stack Rodgers, he's still around. Russell Wilson, if you wanted to stack him with Tyler Lockett, or is it too early in your mind?
For a quarterback? Oh, definitely too early. Like that's one thing I'm gonna wait on almost regardless. I've taken Wilson in a couple of times in the spot just to see how I like the team, and I generally like it more when I wait. It's just there's always going to be some guys that like not only you can get late at ADP, but guys that fall beyond that. Like I've had Kirk Cousins fall like 50 picks to like pick 200. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
All right, we're up.
We are on the clock, 30 seconds. You see a list of the wide receivers on your left. You've got those trio of running backs that you liked on the right.
All right, let's take a running back here. Let's go with James Robinson.
I like it.
Again, we're getting discount on a guy that we don't really know how much his role changed. Like I don't think Urban Meyer came out and said, "Hey, we're going to use ETN like on third downs. We're going to use him as a slot receiver." James Robinson was a guy who racked up 1,000 yards last year plus. So I think you don't just bench a guy like that. Like the Jags need good players. He's a good player. So I think this is I think people are letting him slide way too far. Like it's
interesting.
He's like the discount Josh Jacobs, even in a way. And we got him too, but you know what I mean? Like it's like that's like the discount of him.
Well, it's interesting. I will say this. This is a build, Chris, that I certainly have never had.
Really?
I've never because the thing is I'm not in on James Robinson this year.
Okay.
I'm a little hesitant on Josh Jacobs too because of the pass catching work. And I kind of want to chase some of these other pass catching running backs a little bit later. But I'm interested, man. Like, hey, listen, you're one of the sharp dudes in this industry, brother. So like, I'm with it. Like, I'm all about it, and like, I love hearing your perspective. And it's a completely different perspective than what I have on these two players. So I actually love hearing it.
I appreciate it. And no, it's good because that's what people need to hear. Like, they need to hear the different sides because there's no right way to draft. But here's what the way I'm looking at it is think about the upside for all these guys. Josh Jacobs, again, forget the stats. Just think of the rounds where these guys would be going, like, or should be going, or where they, where they would finish like most of their careers. Josh Jacobs was a borderline RB1 who you would have to draft in the second round. James Robinson every week on a weekly basis last year was a top 12 running back, often a top 5 running back. So like, you're talking about discounts for these guys based on like kind of like very, shaky evidence that things are really going to change. Because again, like these teams' offenses are kind of built around these guys in a sense. So I mean, you have a rookie quarterback in Jacksonville. What are you going to do? Like, throw 45 times? Or are you going to hand out to the guy that got a bunch of
Raybon? Here's the thing, Raybon. They might, bro. Like, it's Urban Meyer. Like, they might sling it 40, 45 times a night, baby.
From what I gather, I feel like they actually want to do more of like the big physical, like they run the ball. Like, I think Urban Meyer is not like, he's not going to come out and just like spread it out from the jump. That's what I gather anyway. But either way, I think that you just got to look at the upside of the team, right? Like, Julio Jones is a wide receiver 4. Josh Jacobs, a guy you'd have to get in round 2. You're getting in round 5 now. Robinson, a guy who was top 10 all last year. You're getting him in the 7th. So that's how we're going to do it. Let's see who we got at wide receiver.
All right, you see these guys queued up a little bit on the left here. So yeah, man, like, how are we feel? I mean, we got Waddle, Elijah Moore, 2 outstanding rookies.
Let's go to running back real quick too. Who else we got? I just want to see who's
Damian Harris. If you're looking for another,
put him in
thumper.
There. Put him in there.
He
just got taken. I think we're gonna go. I love Michael Carter, so we're gonna go with him here. Hoping for a year 1 breakout. He's been running with the ones in camp. This is going to be a roster construction. The upside is there with this pick 2 to be a top 20 back. And I don't think he's going to be on many rosters with this build. So I'm excited to get him here too.
Yeah, there's a lot of I tell you what, there's a lot of positive energy surrounding Michael Carter right now. Obviously, that backfield is in flux. We don't exactly know what that workload split is going to look like, but I kind of sort of like the fact that we're taking claims on guys that, again, it's like in this big field, like, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to be able to stake claims on dudes and say, all right, we're doing it, and if it hits, it hits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing about these running backs, because remember, if you look at their median games missed from year to year for guys, starting guys, like guys you would draft, they usually miss about twice as many games as wide receivers. So wide receivers will usually miss like 1 game a year. Running backs will miss 2, the median, but really the average is more like 3 to 4, right? Because a lot of times running backs get more serious injuries. So what you're doing is you're locking in wide receivers, because you're not like with Julio and all these guys, like you can't find that talent other places in the draft. Really, you can't find that target ceiling other places in the draft. Like, there will be wide receivers to break out, and we'll find some of those late, but those guys will not, they're not going to have that kind of ceiling that these wide receivers have. But some of these because running backs miss more games, we have more chances for guys at the, early in the draft who went and drafted some of those guys early to bust. And our guys, we know they have, except Carter, who's a rookie, but rookie running backs are, historically profitable draft picks as it is. But, with Jacobs and Robinson, we have that RB1 production in our range of outcomes, with really not that much has changed. So I think that's kind of how you want to think about it when you're drafting in best ball leagues, especially, is just think about the upside with these guys. And like, it's not even because like I'll make, let's say, like I might have this draft pick and depending on, and even if the draft unfolded that way, I wouldn't pick the same players every time, the exact same players, because, you have to kind of understand range of outcomes. Like there's not 100% chance that anybody that you think will hits or doesn't, so.
Yeah. All right. So we are on deck, man. And a lot of the guys that I had queued up, Elijah Moore, even Aaron Rodgers, I thought was interesting.
Who else is that? Let's go to who's that quarterback? We got
Tom Brady, Hurts, Lance, Ryan Tannehill, 40 touchdowns
running back.
last year.
Who got a running back? Moss, Jones, Connor, and then who got it wide out? Page, Parker, Ruggs. All right, let's go with Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Cue it up and draft.
Another guy
quarterback off the board for us. Jalen Hurts.
It's all about the upside with him too. He's kind of the reason I like Hurts over a guy like Trey Lance or Justin Fields is just because I can get the full season out of Hurts potentially.
Right.
I can get it from week one. Whereas like if I draft a Taysom or somebody like that or a Field, like I don't know when exactly I'm getting the ceiling that I think is absolutely there. I think everyone's right, but like it's hard for me to say like Trey Lance should go like 13th or at quarterback, or Trey Lance should like he could start 8 games, he could start 15, he could start 1.
Right, exactly. No, it's true. I mean, if Jimmy G balls out, bro, it's like there's no guarantee that Trey Lance is the starter from week 1. I absolutely hear that. All right, let's queue up some dudes, shall we?
Let's go. Wait, let's see our team real quick.
So our team is Jalen Hurts. We've got these 3 running backs here, and then our 5 wideouts, which all look real strong, man.
All right, let's first let's queue up tight end just to see. I just want to see. We haven't looked at it like in a while.
Nope. Logan Thomas just went off the board.
Oh yeah, see that's a great value. Whoever got him this late.
Yeah. It's Sal Powell. Of course, it's Sal Powell.
Right, yeah.
Come on, buddy.
We'll continue to lay back at tight end. Who's that wide out?
All right, let's take a look here, man.
Ruggs, throw Ruggs in there. I think Ruggs makes a big second year leap candidate. All the kind of indicators. He has the early draft pick. He has the speed.
Sure.
He has their number 1 receiver in terms of production from last year was let go. I think this is a big year for Ruggs. So cue him up.
Well, and you figure he fills that role too that Nelson Aguilar leaves. Like I know they signed John Brown, but at this point in his career, how many games can John Brown really hold up? You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Yep.
All right, we're 2 picks away, brother.
I'm hoping Ruggs. He just went right. Oh no, he's still there.
He's still.
Who's that running back? Let's see running back real quick.
Moss, Connor,
Edwards. You can queue up those guys. But there's the guys I think we can get a little later. That can approximate a lot of that production. Let's go back to wideout, just in case somebody snipes. Ruggs, we got Edwards. Oh, Gabe Davis, throw him on the queue. I love him this year. I think he may play a ton of the snaps. So Ruggs just went, right? Yep.
Ruggs just got sniped.
Let's take keep going down the wide receivers. Funny. I just want to see. Oh, queue up St. Brown in the meantime. But yeah, let's go with Davis here.
We're gonna go with Gabe Davis, somebody who I've been fading all season long.
Really?
Talk to me about look, with the addition of Emmanuel Sanders, man, I'm just not sure about the snap share that Gabe Davis is going to see. So talk me into why Gabe Davis in Buffalo.
Well, so this team runs a lot of 4 wide sets, right? So if you notice when John Brown was out last year, Gabe Davis played the John Brown role. And he would run 100% every week play 100% of the snaps every week. So now you got Emmanuel Sanders, who's 33, 34, come in there.
Advanced age, yeah.
Yeah, because John Brown, he's a little younger. He would play 100% of the snaps. Emmanuel Sanders was only doing that last year on the Saints when guys got hurt. I think Sanders gets more of the Gabe Davis role. But even if he doesn't, Gabe Davis, 17 ADOT, and a top 3 in red zone targets for his team as a rookie. Now he's a year 2 breakout candidate. Like there's a very real chance that Gabe Davis could be the second leading receiver on one of the league's best pass offenses. And you're getting him, in the middle rounds of the draft. There's no real risk here. It's kind of like it's like a better version of a guy like Marquez Valdez-Scantling who could get benched. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he's a good pick, but he's at risk to get benched. He's a good best ball pick, but he's at risk to get benched.
Yeah.
Whereas Davis, I think, like if you look at his snap rates, I think he's going to play a ton this year. regardless of how everything else shakes out.
Yeah, see, like for me, my thought process on that, man, is like this is a team with championship aspirations, and teams like this tend to lean on veterans, and Emmanuel Sanders can still play, boy. So like I'm a little bit concerned that Emmanuel Sanders might take over like that number 3 role. You know you're going to get Diggs, you're going to get Cole Beasley, who's going to step in on one of the most pass happy, teams in the NFL. If it's Gabe Davis, great. And to your point, he's our wide receiver 6.
Yeah.
So all he's got to do is have a bust out game every now and again,
which is what he will do, even as the wide receiver 4. That's what he did last year, right? As the wide receiver 4. Right. So yeah, that's the kind of guys I'm trying to build up here. Let's go back to running back though. See who we got. Queue up. Well, yeah, we got to queue up mostly Jamal Williams. Queue up Jamal Williams.
Yeah, love him.
Nyheim Hines.
Love me some Nyheim Hines, yes.
Lindsey, because he might be this RB1, so we just want to keep him there.
He might be the starter,
yeah. And Malcolm Brown, too, if he's still around. I know we're not going to take him yet, but he's probably way down.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, there he is.
But yeah, we'll just keep those guys, because these are the guys we're going to have to use to like fill out our roster at running back.
Yeah, no doubt. Right now we've got 3 running backs, 6 wide receivers, and 1 quarterback.
Yep. Let's go to tight end real quick. We're on the clock.
Yeah. Fant is still around, who a lot of folks are pretty high on.
That's an interesting spot for Fant. What pick is this? 100. What overall pick are we up to?
I'm not sure, man.
Okay.
But we are in round 11.
Yeah, let's go with Noah Fant here. He slipped a little bit, I think. I'm not sure, but I think it feels like he slipped.
I might miss this pick. I think I missed the pick. I did. I'm so sorry.
We got St. Brown?
No, we got Tony Pollard. I'm so sorry, man. Like, I just was not quick enough on that trigger, dude.
It's all good. I mean, if Zeke goes down, we got a RB1 here. And that's kind of what we want.
No, I hear you. But that was my bad. That was my bad. I starred him instead of drafting him. What an idiot I am. I apologize.
It happened.
Oh, there you go. So Noah Fant goes 2 picks after. So people are kind of sort of, on that train right there, man. That hurts me because I panicked. I panicked, bro.
But somebody earlier asked how I feel about like the second year guys who are going earlier, like Claypool and those CeeDee Lamb. I love all of them. Second year breakouts are one of the most bankable things in fantasy. Not all of them are going to hit. There are going to be some times that, a couple of them are going to go bust, as we know. But generally speaking, you're going to get like massive upside from a second year breakout. Like when he hits, he's going to hit pretty strong. So guys like Claypool and Lamb and all those guys who had strong year ones, the stage is set. So I don't shy away from those guys at all. And sometimes I build teams where I'm really just trying to go like all second year guys. So.
All right. So I've got some wide receivers lined up here. Do any of these guys speak to you? I know Bateman's a little injured. But again, if we're talking about, wide receiver 7 or whatever, if he can sort of break out late in the season, all good.
Yeah, no, I think these guys this is where I stop at wide receiver until literally the last round or two. Because I think there's some guys that will be there later. Let's go back to running back. Let's keep. And who's that quarterback? We got it. Actually, no. Let's go to running back. Running back. Sorry. Okay. I forgot we had Hurts. I'm like, how could I forget? So we still got Latavius here. We still got Singletary, Nyheim. We'll go with Hines if he makes it to us.
Bro, I got to be honest with you. I would love Nyheim Hines here, but we'll see. This is another interesting, point in terms of how you're drafting. There's been so much talk about stacking.
Yeah.
And particularly this offseason, for whatever reason it is. I got them queued up. We're good. So I guess from my point of view, I'm a little intrigued by your thought process here. Kind of not really giving stacking much of a thought, just kind of sort of grabbing the best players available at every round.
Well, yeah. Well, so the reason is because it's very easy to stack with your second quarterback, I think, because there's going to be a lot of guys there who you don't really care about. They're just like pocket passes. Whoever drops is like, sometimes it's like Kirk Cousins or Ben Roethlisberger. So then you could kind of look at your team, and if a stack makes sense there, then you do it. But there's not many other quarterbacks that you could get like Jalen Hurts. So I'm not going to fade Jalen Hurts's like QB1 overall upside for the chance to stack like Danny Jones and Kenny. Like I can do that anyways. It's like there's only so many quarterbacks that so I think it's the thing to do is really, because again, you don't want to come into drafts with this like rigid strategy of I got to stack this or do that. It's like just take the players and that you think gives you the best chance to win, and then those strategies can kind of dictate the draft and how it unfolds can kind of dictate those strategies. So yeah, like when it comes to our second quarterback, I'll be looking at our roster and seeing if there's any, like Daniel Jones will probably be on the board, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So, we could do something like that. And I think that's how you kind of want to go about it. Tight end will be interesting.
Tight end will be very interesting. By the way, it should be noted too, it's really tough to stack when you get a premium wide receiver and a great offense. Like Devontae Adams stacking him with Aaron Rodgers, probably the easiest, but Nuke with Kyler, that's tough. Tyler Lockett with Russell Wilson, that's tough, like, and you're supposed those guys go early. You're supposed to be drafting like running backs and wide receivers or a stud tight end in the spots where you have to draft those quarterbacks. Like those, I don't think it's an optimal draft strategy because you're not only like going out of your way, you might have to reach on a player that you just for like correlation, but you're also just going against what's the most optimal pick in almost all of those situations. So I think it's a great thing to do late to kind of close, like, okay, well, if I have to figure it out between Zach Wilson, I like Zach Wilson, but like Ben Roethlisberger and all these guys, well, if I have some Steeler guys, I'll go with Ben. If I have Kenny G, I'll go with Danny, no doubt. Kind of do it that way. All right, man, we're 2 picks away. This board is just flying right now. My God. I've got Philip Lindsay, Malcolm Brown, Xavier Jones queued up for running back. You see some wide receivers. What other positions do you want to look at, man? Let's look at tight end. Let's get Ingram, Jonnu, Gronk queued up, Henry. Okay, let's go with Philip Lindsay here, though, because he should be the starter in Houston. It's not. I mean, Houston's not going to be a great offense, but you're still talking about a guy that on any given week he could, if he gets a touchdown, he could give you better running back production than most of the league. So can we just hope too, like Houston uses him sensibly? Like the fact that Denver never threw him a pass made absolutely no damn sense whatsoever. Oh yeah, it did. He's terrible in a pass game. Come on, bro. Awful. No. He can't block. And for whatever reason, he's not a great like receiver either. Like he's just useless. That's why he lasts this long. Raybon, hard disagree. Really? Hard disagree. What evidence do you have of this? I would say, listen, pass blocking is suspect because of his size, obviously, but he's an interested pass blocker at least, right? He'll give you the energy there. I agree. If you want to say he's not a great pass blocker, I'm with you. I'm okay. I can give you that. But telling me that he can't catch balls out of the back, that's just no. I'm 100% out on that. 100% out on that. But I will say, man, like in this spot, in what do we take him in 13th, like middle of 13th round? Yeah. Projected starter there in Houston. I'm good with it. Yeah, and that's all we're doing. Like now we just have to. We don't need our 13th round running back to finish RB1. We just need it to beat most other people's third, fourth, fifth running backs, and a guy that could start and get 10, 11, 12, 13 carries per game, because they said David Johnson's role is going to be way reduced. I think that's the smart way to go. All right, we got 8 picks to go. All right. Tight ends seem to be flying off the board. Yeah, let's go. Go Ertz. Where's Ertz? Put him on the queue. Zach Ertz way down here. Oh, it's ridiculous. Put him above Gronkowski too. Let's move him up. Yeah, and it takes Xavier Jones off because I don't think we need any more. I'll take Brown if he's like. Let's put Ertz at the top for now. And then let's see what do we got at. Let's go to wide receiver real quick. Just see what else we got. Just laying around. And T.Y. Hilton, I mean, I'm not excited about him, but that's pretty late. Jameson Crowder, same thing. Put Valdez-Scantling just because I always put him in best ball. I'd always have him queued up just in case. Deshaun, same thing. 100%. I love that pick, man. Golly. You only need a couple games out of Deshaun. It's all good. Yeah. If he stays healthy too, I mean that he's been a guy like of all the guys he's missed games like this. Seems like a yearly thing with him, but No doubt. I mean, and again, it's like if he can put together, well, he just went off the board, but yeah, if he can't put together 10 good games, my God, watch out, man. Like, you know what I mean? Matt Stafford, Deshaun, it's like, it's peanut butter and jelly, baby. I love it.
All right, let's go back to tight end real quick just to see who else we got. What's the board look like? Hunter Henry's. Henry, you could put Henry on the queue as well because we're going to need 2 tight ends at some point. Okay, so this should get interesting. What pick is this? This is the 14th round?
14th round.
All right, and we got 6 running backs already?
We do indeed have 6 running backs. 6 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 0 tight ends. What are we thinking?
Let's go ahead and take Ertz right here because I don't want him to go. It's another guy who I've been taking like all the time in these drafts because it's another guy. First of all, Carson Wentz ruined his season last year. If he gets traded, he's going to start, right? He's going to start. If he doesn't get traded, he's still going to be the number 1 tight end on the Eagles. And he's looked good in camp, which just kind of shows that it was more about Wentz last year, who made everyone look horrible because he had like a just dismal year. So like another guy, bad. Think of the ceiling for Zach Ertz. Every year, where's he getting drafted? Top 3, 4, 5 tight ends. Now he has 1 bad year. He's essentially free, like, late round pick. So another guy that I think, especially if you're waiting on tight end, like that's why if I don't get the studs, I never force it because you can get Zach Ertz. You can, and like now you can get Hunter Henry. I hated Gronk earlier, but even him being available that late is kind of nuts. Evan Ingram's another one. 1 bad year for Evan Ingram, and it's like
right.
So we could think of the upside with these guys, and I think you have to wait if you don't get a stud. Studs are worth it, but after that it gets real shaky.
It is interesting, though, that I don't hear too many folks, use that phrase upside when talking about Zach Ertz just because of the age.
And we stacked him.
Obviously, Dallas Goedert is somewhere in there, too, So it's like it's interesting that you have that kind of perspective on him because, again, that really kind of goes against the grain of what we're hearing about some of these players.
Well, it's not a perspective. It's the actual truth. I mean, look at Zach Ertz's numbers. Look at where he was drafted. Look at his targets per route run. Look at his usage. He's going to either start on another team or start on the Eagles. Like one way or another, he's going to be he's going to run more routes than most tight ends in the league. So that's really all I can ask for with a pick like that this late in the draft.
Right.
Let's go back to wide receiver.
All right.
Tyrell, Sammy.
Any of these guys interest you at all? I can scroll down a little bit here. Josh Palmer's an interesting one.
Yeah, he hasn't. I'm not 100% sure he wins the job yet, but he is interesting.
I'll tell you what, an injury could open the door there too. We are on the clock here, so
who's that quarterback? Who else we got at quarterback?
Yeah, let's take a look at quarterback. We haven't done that in a bit here.
Still got
Danny
Baker.
Dimes,
okay, so we got a bunch of guys there. Let's go with Hunter Henry. Wait, no, don't go Hunter Henry. Go with. Because Hunter Henry and Ertz have the same bye, right? Yeah. Go with Gronk.
Go with Gronk.
Yeah.
He's on the board. Zach Ertz and Rob Gronkowski.
Right. Tight ends that people hate, but I was really down on Gronk, but he slipped so much that at this point
he's fallen.
Now he's because like you project him to only play like half the snaps already. And he still projects pretty decently. It's just, so it's like now that he's fallen to 16, 17 at tight end, it's like, okay, well, sure. There's only so many quarterbacks that are going to throw like 40 touchdowns this year.
Right.
So
yeah, that's right. And obviously he's got that mind meld with Tom Brady, man. It's like, he's always a threat to score a touchdown, no doubt.
Yeah. But more importantly, we're just kind of going against the grain with low risk picks, right? Because like I understand the downside of Zach Ertz. We saw that too, just like we know the upside. We know the downside of Gronk. We saw his snap counts dwindle at points last year. But when you think about the upside of both of these guys, Gronk can catch double-digit touchdowns. One of the few tight ends in the league that you could say that about, even with
100%.
The plateau. Zach Ertz will, he's one of the few tight ends that could conceivably still get top 5 volume that's going this late because again, he's going to either get traded to a team where he's going to start or he's going to play his role on the Eagles, which has always been, even with Goddard there, it's been fine. So, and we stacked, if Zach Ertz stays with the Eagles, we got him stacked.
True.
There's a stack.
I like it. I like it, man. All right, let's queue up some dudes, man. We are 5 picks away. What position group you want to look at? We have right now. We've got 6 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and a quarterback.
Let's go to wide receiver.
Let's take a look.
So we got I like Peoples-Jones, but I just you can queue up Slayton. I think he's fallen a little too far. Nico Collins. Let's keep going down the list. Who else we got there?
All these reports today of Hunter Renfrow cooking up Jalen Ramsey in the slot today. That's a fun thread.
Yeah, but Hunter Renfrow, he's gonna play like half the snaps at best.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not drafting him. I'm just
let's
saying
put
it was fun reading.
Put Nico and Slayton on the top. Take Malcolm Brown off because I think we're gonna stay with 6 running backs, and then take Henry off too because we already have our tight end, 2 tight ends. I usually try to always have my extra picks come at wide receiver because I think that still gives you the most upside, even though we hammered it. So I'm always trying to go, 8 deep at wide out. I think I hope we get Collins here. I would take Slayton as well.
Okay.
Or both. Because here's the thing with Collins. This is a guy who, let's take him. Rookie guy, team went out to get him. Outside receiver, which means a high air yard profile on a team with no competition for targets other than really Brandon Cooks. And Brandon Cooks, as the priority of the defense if he's without Deshaun Watson, it's going to be a lot harder for him to break open. Teams are going to kind of force Collins to beat them. And Collins, I think, would still be the best red zone target regardless. And there's no Darren Fells there to steal those red zone touchdowns now. So Akins is not really a good red zone guy like that. So there's a potential for a lot of air yards.
I was, to kind of sort of piggyback on that, and I agree with that 100%. The defense not very good. They're going to be behind in a lot of games. And again, it's like you want these guys that play outside, that profile, as outside wide receivers on teams that are going to be trailing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Nico is that dude.
Yeah, unless it's the Lions, because Jared Goff probably still won't throw deep.
Oh, come on now. Come on. No, it's actually, to that point too, actually, I think with where Brashad Perriman is going, which is like super, super late, if drafted at all, actually he presents some value too.
Yeah, I could see it. I think I'd probably prefer Tyrell. I just think Tyrell's the better receiver and can do a little more, like not just deep. Like everything we've heard out of camp on Goff has been there's not the deep ball is just not there. And that's been what we know. That's why Sean McVay traded him, even though he took him to a Super Bowl. So I tend to kind of like, it could happen, but, and it's, upside pick. I don't hate it. He should be a starter, but I like St. Brown. St. Brown's the guy I go to in Detroit just because I think he's the best route runner there. And I think he just fits with Goff. So. Right.
Yeah. Oh, totally. He's going to fill that Cooper Kupp role for sure. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And Cooper Kupp was another guy with not a lot of draft pedigree that, his rookie year, he played a lot. And I think St. Brown slipped to the 4th round. So maybe people are down on him.
It's so crazy to me that this man would slip to the 4th round. Like, what? Yeah. What's going on? He was a good-ass player at USC. Okay? Like, what's going on here? I don't get it. Anyways, all right, we'll queue up some dudes. All the dudes that we had queued up are now gone.
So we got one more pick, right? Last pick?
One more pick. Yes, one more pick.
So we're going
two more.
Oh, we need a quarterback, right?
Yeah, we got 2 more. I think we got 2 more picks. Yeah.
So let's go. Let's go to quarterback real quick and see who we got. Daniel Jones definitely.
Yeah.
You can queue up Carr and Roethlisberger just in case. And then I'm hoping we get one of those 3 guys. Yeah, I don't want it to
one of those 3 dudes. Yeah, one of those 3.
Because we're only going 2 quarterbacks, so I don't want to go with like a Taysom Hill or somebody like that. Even a Tyrod, who I have gone Tyrod in some 2 quarterback situations, but you're not certain that he's going to start all the games.
Well, not only that, Chris. Like, given his rotten luck, man, like something's going to happen, bro. Something's going to happen, man.
And
he's
also
he just gets replaced.
Good. Yeah, he's just not that good.
There's that too.
But I mean, he'll give you fantasy points, but he's just especially for the price. But he's I do worry about his job security versus like Jones, the Giants, regardless of how well or poorly he plays, they have to get that evaluation out. And if he plays poorly, then hey, you let him go after this year. But are we up?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, let's take Danny Dimes here. That's a high upside guy, you know.
No,
If he doesn't fall down on his
Yeah.
80-yard touchdowns, you know, he gets even a little better statistical luck last year. But we've seen the 4 touchdown games out of him. We've seen the 300 plus yard games out of him. We've seen the rushing production out of him. Just hasn't put it together in the same season. But I think with Golladay, with Barkley hopefully back, you still have a lot of concerns about the offensive line, which I think is why he's dropping to where he is, and just the recency bias from the poor season. But the O-line is a huge concern in New York. One of the main reasons why I'm fading a guy like Saquon in the first round, it's not really the injuries as much as it's the injuries coupled with the O-line, because now I can't afford him to get hurt, because he could also he's one of the few like studs that could really put up true bust games. He's had 5 games under 30 yards rushing over his last 15. So, you know, that's the concern with Jones, but we're getting him really late as our second QB.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And
all right, so we've got 2 quarterbacks. Are you done with quarterback now?
We're done with quarterback.
Done with tight end.
Yeah, we're done with, I think in a high risk put, it makes sense to use a guy that could fill a multiple spot, like a running back or wide receiver. And I like to go wide receiver just because I think there's more value there. So let's go.
I'll just queue up both position groups here.
You can throw Van Jefferson on there, even though I'm not that big on him. Tony's interesting, but no. Actually, yeah, put Tony on there. Just because we do have.
Oh, there he is.
We do have Danny. Keep going.
100%.
Renfro, Mims. No, Mims is just too.
Yeah.
Fulgham's interesting, but no. Yeah, let's go.
I'm interested in Fulgham too. I mean, if you wanted to talk stacks here, it's the cheapest stack that you could possibly make. Fulgham with Jalen Hurts too, but no, he's an interesting player to me.
I think let's go Tony, because he's first round pick. Let's just bet on the draft pedigree winning out.
Okay.
If he's there.
Yeah, he'll be there. I think so. So. Are there?
We can keep throwing. Let's keep going wide receivers.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep looking, man. It's all good. I think Scotty Miller in this format is also interesting too. Timmy Patrick is just going so late nowadays, and he really played pretty well, honestly, with Cortland Sutton sideline. But I get it. You know, he doesn't have the draft pedigree and all those things.
And I think Hamler's actually a good breakout candidate too. Like everyone's talking about Judy. I think Hamler will play well, and that's what the worry is with Patrick, is that okay, if those two guys break out, you're betting on a Sutton injury, which could work, but I mean Sutton, I've been fading him mostly at ADP.
Right.
Yeah, we got Tony still here. Yeah, let's go Tony. It's just a dart throw, but it'll give us some differentiation. Yeah,
I like it. I kind of like that thought process too. And again, you know, when you're talking about cheap stacks, my God, you know, Danny Dimes, you know, we add Kadarius Toney into the mix. Plus, you're talking Kenny Golladay too. So, yeah, you know, you're kind of stacking it up a little bit there. And there you go. That's our draft.
That was fun.
That's not bad. All right. So I'm going to, let's let these last few picks go through and kind of see what's happening here. But Ramondre Stevenson went right before us. He had a huge run in the preseason that got some people's attention. Dawson Knox, the projected tight end starter there in Buffalo in a pass-happy system. See what's going on there. Well, I just see Deshaun Watson going in every draft too, especially in these like big tournament fields. I don't hate it, but also I kind of sort of don't really understand it. Like, there's just no way he's going to play, right? Like, what are the chances this dude plays?
Higher than the chances of winning the tournament, which makes it a good pick. No, seriously, because like if you divide one into however many entrants there are, and then like I think the chance of Deshaun Watson playing are still in the like 15-ish, 10 to 15% range. You know, like it's not zero. There's a non-zero chance.
Non-zero, yes.
Yeah, that he plays, and there's almost a zero chance that you win this tournament. And so I actually get it. I do get it. Yeah. I do get it. Like I said, I think of upside in a few different ways. So I'm just thinking of upside in terms of like I need a guy that's going to be there for 16 games. That's the kind of upside I need. But I do. There's a place for Watson.
Yeah, man. All right, let's take a look here. Let me, as I kind of sort of spitball here, but we're going to take a look as soon as I get these this draft board up. Chris, I'd love for you to kind of sort of take us through who you thought did well, who you thought did not do well. As soon as I'm able to kind of get this board up, which I will be able to do relatively soon here. Hold on, people. Stay with me. Stay with me, baby. All right. We're in. All right, cool. So hold on. Here we go. Yeah. All right. So now you can see the board here in front of you, at least the first half of the board. Yep. Give me a kind of sort of thought process on, taking a quick peek, who did well, maybe who kind of sort of stuck out to you as like, that's a curious strategy, things of that nature, man. What are you looking at?
So, I mean, I think the early part of the draft, you got to love because you get one of those top 4 backs I like the guy in third who went with Alvin Kamara over Derrick Henry. I think, Kamara's averaged 30 PPR points with Michael Thomas out compared to 20 with him in. So like he just has huge upside, I think. And then look at those second year, young receivers and just kind of, I like all, and like they're either second year breakouts like Chenault, Justin Jefferson already broke out, or they're guys that I love, just discount options that people are letting drop too far. Juju, Corey Davis, and then a great rookie in Elijah Moore. So I like that number 3 spot. And then they got Justin Fields and Joe Burrow, 2 great upside quarterbacks. So I think the number 3 spot went, and then they got the stud tight end, if I'm not mistaken, too, right?
Darren Waller. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that number 3 spot really sticks out for me as one that I like of those in the early rounds. I think the 4 spot is interesting at they got the stud tight end. I think that's really important. If you get such an edge from that, I know Kittle got hurt last year, but the chances of that happening again are low. I think that if some of his wide receiver gambles pay off, he's in good shape, go down a little bit. I do think that, like, if you look at his team, though, I think there's a little more potential. I think this is why you don't necessarily go quarterback that early. Like, even he got a really good quarterback in Lamar Jackson, but will he have enough at wide receiver to win the tournament? I don't know, because it's such a wide receiver focused kind of tournament, which is why we did what we did. And like his team is real, he's got the 2 stud running backs, he's got Kittle, he's got a stud quarterback, but your wide receiver 3 Williams, you just have a lot of guys that can they kind of put together enough good weeks and when you need them, because they're all going to have their big weeks. Marquise Brown, obviously, he'll have his like 80, 3 catches, 120 yards. Waddle, I think, should break a few big plays. Mike Williams will catch some deep balls. Sanders, you mentioned, he'll get his here and there, but I just don't know that it will have enough consistently to win. I think which is why I go back to like Lamar, and I think another wide receiver there. Like, let's see what wide receivers he passed on there at 4. Which way is the board going? I always get confused.
It's around 6. So he passed on LaVisca, Antonio Brown, Michael Gallup, Juju.
Yeah. Like you see these guys. Like, I mean, I think just having one more of them and a quarterback later would have made it better. Like it's not that like there's any one guy that it's like, oh, he's a must draft, which is probably why he went Lamar. But
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You need both. You need volume and you need production out of that position. And so like it's not enough to just kind of get a bunch of guys. It's like everyone's going to have 7 to 8 receivers. Everyone's going to say, hey, well, these guys can go off here and there because it's a best ball league. So they're all going to do what it's going to be optimized for everyone is what I'm trying to say. So like you can't fall in love with the guys you draft, in the late rounds just because you drafted them. Like, I think that's why we went so crazy at wide receiver and you were kind of surprised because like you need to have the best wide receiving core. You can't just have, an average to above average one.
Right. And I think the mentality is completely different too, right? Like, again, it's a big tournament field. Like you want to have a crazy strong position group that you can bank these points on. And again, if you want to then just kind of take flyers on guys at the running back position, you can do that too. To that point, can I ask you about Mike Moss's team? So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th team there, the team that drafted right in front of us. He decided to go with a pretty heavy running back build with Chris Carson, Travis Etienne, and then captured the entire San Francisco backfield. Now, can I say this in a typical, best ball draft, not non-tournament, I actually like that strategy because San Francisco, is going to produce, high quality fantasy running back games. But in a tournament field, that feels not as great. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't like it with San Francisco either way, because they're actually one of the few teams that you can't count on just the guys you draft being the only guys. I mean, last year, how many guys got in that mix? What, 4 or 5 guys? Again,
yeah, but mostly injuries open that up, though, right?
But this is the position where injuries are the most likely to occur. So I think that you have to keep that in mind. Like you could say, okay, even if you're doing it with the Saints, it's like, okay, I got Latavius and Kamara, I should get all the production. Yeah, well, if Latavius gets hurt when you're still not. So I think you kind of made the point, just before you alluded to it, that especially in a tournament setting, but every fantasy league you start with like a 1-12, so it's still kind of like a tournament. But you should be kind of looking to really just capture that upside and not worry about like capturing all of the production of a certain backfield or whatnot, like especially in a best ball, because you actually just might be raising your floor, but you don't really need to do that in a best ball format. Like the optimization is going to do it for you. So yeah, he had
an interesting build though, right? Like in terms of just going very strong running backs, like Ezekiel Elliott, Chris Carson. They're going to get the lion's share of the work. Travis Etienne. However you feel about about that Jacksonville offense or whatever it is, he's going to get some work in there. Had a strong quarterback too with Kyler Murray, and then just tried to find. I like the high volume pick. Upside. Yeah. High volume like the Rager upside wide receivers.
Those are wide receiver year 2 breakout guys that people are down on. So I like the value. I do like I will say this, I don't like the strategy with the San Francisco backfield, but I do like the players that he's picking, just kind of in a vacuum, or the types of players, I should say, he did stack Christian Kirk with AJ Green, and I get it. I think that kind of takes advantage of if DeAndre Hopkins goes down, things like that. But a lot of the guys he picked, I think Donovan Peoples-Jones, they're like under the radar guys, year 2 breakout candidates, and some of those guys that you don't expect to hit will hit. But again, I think running back kind of trips a lot of people up in these things. I don't think you need to go super robust. I think it's just going to come down to luck and the first couple guys you draft hit, and then also other people's highly drafted backs busting, and you just have enough in those later rounds to kind of beat them because they're getting maybe not zeros, but they're not getting as much. That's how you kind of want to go about it. So I don't think kind of forcing it at running back or trying to get a team's backfield or going running back heavy. I don't think those are winning strategies, because you need 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and then a flex. So it just makes wide receiver the most important position by default, and wide receivers have the most upside.
By the way, I want to congratulate today's winners for the we were giving away those $25 entries into Best Ball Mania 2. Sam Chowdhury. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but I think it is Sam Chowdhury, who's always been very active in these chats. Congratulations. He what did he win? 3 entries? Is that right? Talk to me, Sal Pal. And then Jimmy won an entry, and then Washed Up Gamer won an entry as well, which I kind of sort of love, man. So there. I
love the people that have they have these usernames that make you underestimate them. It just be worst fantasy drafter, and then they'll just have a killer team, and you'd be like, damn.
There you go. So congratulations to all those guys, man. And especially Sam, who I know has been very active in these chats all through these weeks and has watched many of our programs here on 4 for 4 and on my personal YouTube page as well. All right, so there you go. All right, man. Again, take a look at our team here, and just kind of sort of outline what you thought the strengths were, and really honestly kind of sort of play devil's advocate against yourself and say, hey, listen, sure, we could have done a better job here, or I wish this pick had fallen to me here, or whatever it was.
So I think that the strategy was, first of all, those top 4 running backs are gone, and Zeke was gone, who I like. So I think Devontae Adams was such a no-brainer pick. right there. I like going the wide receiver over the tight end because let's say you get the number 1 overall receiver will outscore the number 1 tight end in raw points. And like, remember Travis Kelce in 2019 was still like really good, but just not as good as 2020. You know, so if Travis Kelce really has to like, there's almost no margin for error with Kelce. Whereas with a wide receiver, I think there's a little bit more. And again, it's this draft is still all about receivers because it's best ball. So you can get like guys late at tight end and get optimized. It's, you know, Kelce's obviously tremendous, but I go wide receiver over the number 1 tight end early here. DeAndre Hopkins, I just think he's just such a locked in, like safe, high floor, high ceiling pick, target volume that not many can come up against. In round 3, I think we could have gone a lot of different ways, but I didn't want to get into, you know, the stud tight ends were gone. So that would have been the only way I really got off of wide receiver here, because if you look at the running backs in this range, can we definitively say that like J.K. Dobbins, Darrell Henderson are going to be better than like Chris Carson, DeAndre, you know, like, and then Josh Jacobs, you know, like it's just kind of, it bunches up and there's going to be injuries. There's going to be a lot of things that factor in, but Tyler Lockett, again, another guy you can count on for top 15-ish production year in, year out. Right. So we, you know, felt good there, and then felt really good about Julio dropping. This is when I think we would have started looking at any position, you know, especially running back here. But, you know, with Julio falling, a guy who has wide receiver 1 upside, you know, so then, you know, Josh Jacobs, that's kind of the pick where you were like, huh? But so that, you know, that one, this could obviously, there's some downside here. Again, the offensive line is not as good. It's going to be not as good. It's different. And it's also not going to be as good. They lost their all-pro center. And he's the guy who's not going to do that much in the pass game. He'll play the early downs. So he'll be in for like, you know, 30% of the routes, you know, he'll block probably another half the time, but still upside there. So don't hate it. Galladay was another guy, you know, not a must pick, a guy that has a lot of downside, but also a guy that has that wide receiver 1 ceiling and should be, you know, is one of his team's wide receiver 1. He should be a leader in air yards. And that's what I think it kind of, we're not saying it outright, but really what we're trying to accumulate at wide receiver, especially in a half PPR, is just a ton of air yards, because in a full PPR, you know, then the receptions, and I can say, okay, I want straight up volume, right? I can say, if this guy is undervalued based on straight up volume, I'll take him. Maybe then you take more guys like Crowder and, you know, guys like that. But here, we're taking Galladay, we're taking Gabe Davis. Why? Because these guys could legit, you know, either lead their team in air yards or be not far behind. And like, for example, Gabe Davis on the Bills, right? Stephon Diggs is going to probably lead them in air yards because he still, you know, gets enough intermediate and deep targets. But like Gabe Davis will probably be second, regardless of how much Sanders plays, regardless of how much Cole Beasley plays. So, you know, you always want guys like that. Same thing with Nico Collins. Very good chance to be second on Houston. So, you know, those guys, again, there's a lot of risk with them. I think the thing we would have liked is if we got 1 tight end a little earlier. But I do love kind of punting the position when you don't get a stud if you have to. We ended up missing out on that Fant pick. And so, you know, we got 2 guys in Ertz and Gronkowski who there's only a few guys down here that you could get this late that have legit like top 5 upside. These guys are 2 of them for very different reasons. Everyone's just super down on them, and for good reason, given what happened last year. Totally understand it, but that's why we're drafting them in the 14th and the 15th round. There's like, even within a draft that you need to be risky throughout, there's still different levels of risk you want to take as the draft progresses, and it increases linearly with each round. So, you know, you're by the time you're in 14 and 15, you're taking super risk. Same reason we took Kadarius Toney, who the median outcome probably wide receiver 4 for the Giants, but draft pedigree correlates highly with first year production. And then we have Daniel Jones, who if Kadarius Toney gets on the field and breaks off a bunch of big plays, in the pass game, Daniel Jones takes advantage of that, and that's going to lead to more playing time for Toney. So we have this kind of correlated situation here with that. So I think, overall, I would say we would have loved to gone a little better, you know, a little more of more certainty at tight end. And there's some picks that, you know, could go either way, but overall, I think I feel good about it, especially given the format of what we're doing. I think, you want kind of a unique build, and you want a very strong wide receiving core. Those are the 2 things that I try to always accomplish: unique build and strong receiving core.
Yeah, and I think you definitely did that. I blame myself, damn it. Tony Pollard in the 11th round just staring at me.
Yeah, but I mean if Zeke goes, because remember, we who went right before us, right? In the first round. It was Ezekiel Elliott. I might have taken Zeke in the first, I have him ranked right there with Adam. So I may have taken Zeke. Let's say if Zeke goes down, that benefits us. It's so easy to see how it benefits us because the guy in front of us, sniped Zeke from us. So it's everything. You kind of got to think about all these things. I mean, it's a big tournament, so it's actually not that important. But if you're in a 12 teamer, you'd understand. Yeah. But either way, I don't hate the Pollard pick. He's got huge upside.
Okay, there you go, man. I appreciate you not flaming me there for not being able to pull up that damn Noah Fant pick. I agree with you.
That's why I always got to get that's why I drag and drop guys in my queue. I don't just queue them up because it always happens that then I'll get a guy in my queue will get picked and it'll be a quarterback because I went to the quarterback first or something. So I've been there. I've been there.
Oh, bro. Oh, God. That was a low point for me. My God, how do I not get the clicks in? For God's sakes, I'm a professional. For God's sakes, what's going on out here? All right, listen, man, that's going to do it for us, man. Great draft. Chris, it is a great time working with you, man. I think it's our first time we've done stuff together. Yep. I know I've seen you on other streams and everything like that, so definitely appreciate the work, no doubt. You see it on your screen there. If you deposit $10 into a brand new Underdog Fantasy account, you will get a free 4 Pro sub, plus you'll get 25 Underdog bucks as well. All you got to do, use that promo code BBL. It is the best deal in fantasy football. My God, $10 gets you all that free stuff, man. That's pretty good. But I tell you what, man, we appreciate you guys. We only got 2 shows left, y'all. We only got 2 shows left. Man, I love it. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. And Chris, you are certainly one of the more entertaining dudes that we've had on Bestball Live thus far. So we appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, man.
All right, there you go. For Chris Raybon, I'm James Koh. We will see you guys next week. Peace.